Welcome back to Reach for Wellness. This is a show where we talk with guests here at Community Reach Center about how they reach for wellness in their own mental health journey. I'm your host, Vanessa Alarcon. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, a licensed addictions counselor, and I'm an outpatient program manager here. I'm very excited because we're going to be in a new space today. We are in Kai's office. Kai's office is so fun. We have here Jeeps and lots of different things, and so I'm sure that you want to know, who is Kai? Where's all this fun coming from? Kai is our school-based care manager. Kai, welcome to Reach for Wellness.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Kai, we were just talking about your educational background. So tell me, what did you study and what's your role here at CRC?
Here at CRC, I'm the care manager for the school-based team. My studies I come from Indiana, and we there really prioritize mental awareness for the brain. So my study came from Indiana State, where I really dove into science of psychology. And so I got to learn all about the different neurons and how they interact and how different mental awareness can affect those different neuron pathways. So that was my big thing.
That sounds so scientific. That's so cool. Well, Kai, you're a valued member of the school-based teams. I already know if they're tuning in, they're probably like, yes, we love Kai. We all love Kai at Community Reach Center. But Kai, we're here today to talk about mental health and the way that we all experience mental health, because we all have our brains, our emotions, we all have the neurons you were just talking about. But also we all have a unique experience when it comes to what does reaching for wellness mean to us. And also throughout different types of year, wellness has different meanings. So start out by telling us, Kai, what does, for you, reaching for wellness mean?
For me and my family in general, reaching for wellness really means that we're trying to reach for happiness. Every day it's a little bit different. Some days you're giving your 100% all the time, and some days your 100% is that 80% that you can give. And so we're really looking for what makes you happy in those moments. So for my family a lot, it's outside activities. I do a lot of reading, and my kids really love reading. And also we like to run. So we just got cleared to go running again. So we did the trails this weekend, we went hiking, and reaching for wellness, we really like to take a second to sit down, relax. There were some waterfalls on our hike this weekend, so we just kind of sat there and watched the water and listened to all the different frogs and all those things. So we just kind of calmed, which was really different.
Yeah, no, you mentioned a few things. So I want to rewind. First of all, it's so cool to hear that family is such an integral part of how you immediately mentioned Reach for Wellness. But this sounds like an adventure family. I just want to go out and run. So you run with your family?
Yes, so we do one thing every single day. So after school, our kids are always doing one thing. So we always plan it where, we're doing the jump place, or we're going on a hike, we're going on a walk, we're going on a bike ride, because going outside for them, they sit in school all day, they're kind of stuck in an office, kind of like, some people are normally. So going outside and really getting that sunshine and those air and all of those things.
Yeah, so you guys are out and about.
Always. There's never a time where we're sitting at home doing nothing, but that's just our family. Every family's different.
Right,
so.
Yeah. Well, and then Kai, I'm trying to remember the makeup of your family, because you have littles, right?
Yes.
I'm just imagining these littles running through the mountains.
They do. They run. We have a kid who is very hyperactive, and he runs non-stop. From morning till night, he wakes up, jumps out of bed and ready to run around. And to do schoolwork, he runs lap at the gym and then does a problem and then does another. So, after school, we have a trail right by our house. It's 3.4 miles, and he's like, let's go biking every single day. So
wow, okay.
He loves it.
And even with all your training that you have in psychology, and also with all the valuable work that you do here, I imagine that you see those connections of when your kiddos or the family are able to engage in this physical activity, how that impacts their mental health. Talk to me about what you see.
So our kids really thrive on seeing people demonstrate things for them. So when we're demonstrating, oh, hey, I'm really frustrated, I think I need to go take on a walk, the boys will go with us, and even if we're just pretending that we're frustrated and we want to get them outside, like we talk about all the things that were great during the day, we talk about the hard things during the day, and we're able to all connect. And so now our kids have started to do it, and the teachers at school have been like, hey, your kids ask other kids how their day is and what their favorite part of the day was. And so it's showing them how to be kind to other people and how to help other people fill their cups as we fill theirs.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a beautiful family. My own part of the family. That sounds awesome. So there's different seasons where, wellness can look a little different, and we are talking about family, and holidays sometimes can make up about, how families engage in traditions, but also how they engage with wellness. And so it is spooky season. And so talk me through a bit about either how your family engages with this kind of season, and also how you see that connecting with overall wellness as well.
See, we love this season the most because in the fall, yes, it's our favorite because the wind is starting to blow, so it's not too hot when we go outside. You're not covered in sunscreen all the time. You don't have to worry about packing all of the things you need. Sometimes we just go out and sit on the front porch, and like one of my kiddos loves chess, so even just sitting down on the front porch and playing chess with him is really nice. And we also really love during this season, especially all of the different Halloween things. So when you go into the store, they have the skeletons and the cauldrons, and just to go and look at those things, you don't have to spend any money, you don't have to do anything, but just, pretending that you're a witch and walking around the store like that. And it's a lot of fun for us. And that's how, we feel their happiness, our happiness. And sometimes it's fun instead of being the adult and always having to be strict, but also going to the store and being a little goofy and being a kid and, being happy with the kids, just taking a step back from all the responsibilities is really fun for us.
Well, and I love that you mentioned that, because as you were mentioning, like walking through the stores, you're so right. I have this vision of like even walking through like a pharmacy, and you're just like aisles of all these different decorations, and yeah, people will walk through and enjoy. Sometimes even taking pictures with certain things. So it sounds like your family has enjoyed just getting kind of in the, I'm going to say the spirit, like in the spirit that the season brings.
We really love it because we don't have to spend any money when we go to the store. We can look at the things, and our kids, they want things, but also there are times when they're like, let's just pretend that we're witches, or hey, we saw Frankenstein, so we're going to be Frankenstein, and we will walk through the store like that. Now, do we look crazy walking through the store like that? Absolutely.
Trying to imagine this. Okay, so it's like I'm Frankenstein, and you all will just
And so we'll like collect our groceries pretending to be Frankenstein, and then once you get that item, you'll be like, okay, now you're Dracula. Okay, and you have to go get the other items based on Dracula. And so our kids come up with some crazy things. Like this weekend we were ghosts, which was great, except like we walked past people and they were like, boo! And I was like, please stop trying to scare strangers.
Is it a dress up thing, or is it pure just imagination?
Just pure imagination, like just going out and having those fun experiences. And they take away like so much happiness from those stressful moments in life, because nobody has fun taking their kids to the store. But it can be fun sometimes.
I can already see the spin on like, we're going to the store. It can be a stressful moment for parents to gather your kiddos, where you're like, we're going to make this an adventure. We're going to make it fun. And it sounds like even more fun in this season.
Oh yeah, especially like my kids love to be ninjas, so we'll be like, quiet as a ninja as you sneak to this next item. Don't let anybody see you. So they'll like hide behind things.
Now I know. I have to find you all when you're at the store. So talk to me, Kai, about, because there can be families that, or kiddos where this season may not elicit like all this joy and imagination, and it could actually maybe be a little more on the frightening end, like the other side of the spooky. But it sounds like with what you all are doing, even around the season, is to find fun and imagination. And so what would you suggest for like parents or even other people where as the season comes, maybe the imagination spark may not be there for their wellness?
Yeah, so one of our kids is very terrified of everything. And so we do a lot of just discussions before we even go out. Like trick-or-treating can be very triggering for a lot of people. And so we do a lot of discussions of like, it's people in masks, it's just people trying to have fun, like just to prepare them for going out into the world and knowing like these things can be scary up front, but they're not always scary afterwards. Okay, so like when you see a big masked person on trick-or-treating, a lot of them look scary. And so my kid's like, oh no. And we're like, remember, it's a mask. And so we did go to the Halloween store and we looked at like scary masks and we just like prepared them for all the different things. But also, I think the biggest part for us is open communication. So when we're having a tough day, like my spouse and I, we're having a tough day, the kids are running wild, and we're like, hey, I had a tough day, I need you to take over for a little bit. And so they'll go do something together, and it's as simple as playing tic-tac-toe, like just to give me a second to sit down or them a second to sit down, just to calm ourselves and get back into what we were doing.
Yeah. So, and I like that you're mentioning here about like also a practical step. A parent can engage with their kiddo, or a guardian can engage with a kiddo on, it sounds like exposure therapy a little bit, even though I know that's not what it is, but like, let's expose you to certain things that may elicit this fear and really explain what's happening. That it's not, just this random creature in the neighborhood, but also like, this is a mask. This is, a way that people celebrate this kind of season. And also, like, how can you ground yourself? So you mentioned coloring. What kind of other grounding activities are there that kids can use to help just relax or calm them down?
So I've mentioned a lot of physical activity, which our family uses a lot, but we also use reading as a way to do it. So I have littles, but I've also done it with teenagers in the past where I'm like, okay, you read a chapter, I'll read a chapter, and then we'll discuss the chapters. But I don't want to know what chapter you read because I want to know how you tell it to me. Okay, that way, they're focused, they're listening, but also you're having a conversation with them. It's not a book report so much as, let me tell you what happened in this chapter. And it could be from their favorite book or a book you guys pick out together. Parents, I think the biggest thing is connection with their kids during this season because, school started last month. It can be really tough on kids, especially parents too. They're going to work, they're getting after school activities, but that connection piece and the open communication is very big.
I love that. So it's different books. So like if I'm saying I'm reading this book, or is it the same book?
It could be either. So I had a kiddo once that we were doing Harry Potter. Okay, and they read the first chapter and I read the second chapter, and then in order to know what was happening in the second chapter, I needed to listen to them and actually listen. There's a difference between listening to their words and actually listening to what they're telling you. Yeah. And so that was really important for the kid to feel heard. So that's what I did. I sat down and I was like, I don't understand what's happening, so I'll tell you what happened after you tell me what happened.
I love that. And those books are really thick. Yes. So you can speed through it. Like you read, I read. That's cutting 50% of the whole book. That's great.
But for my little kids, I just do, you read one page, I'll read one page. Okay, and we'll just sit down together. It's not, you have to memorize anything. It's just you're practicing your reading because you're little. And I will read this to you so that you can take a break to just, feel yourself and look at the pictures.
I love it. Well, thank you, Kai. You've given at least our listeners today so many different ideas on what they can use with their families, their kiddos, or even maybe with themselves, right? Because even if you're not a parent, you can still engage in the coloring, in the physical activity, and also in having, a discussion with a book, like even through a book club or something like that.
Absolutely. There's a lot of apps out there that you read a book and then there are chats on that app. Now they are for adults, so because you're connecting with other people on the internet, and I want people to be very safe when they do that.
Sure.
Okay, but there are ways that you talk about this book and this book only, so.
Well, that's neat. Yeah, so even in this season, in a spooky season, people can find ways to have fun, be imaginative, and also reach for their own wellness.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Kai, so much for being here and for telling us more about how you reach for wellness.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this month's episode of Reach for Wellness. Did anything stick out to you from what we talked about? Anything that you think you would apply to your own life? We'd love to hear more about your reaction or response to this month's episode. So leave a comment on Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. We're happy to see all the things that come to mind for you as we all are on a journey to improve and reach for wellness. Make sure to subscribe wherever you find a podcast. We're probably there. So make sure to subscribe, leave a rating, and let us know what you think about the show. And make sure to tune in next month for what we'll be chatting about next. Talk to you next time.